Yeah, is there a in the room? I'm going to start with the phone. 1, 2, fried chicken. This gives you the winning to oppositions. Now, I think the disheartening facts that we have in the current conditions is that if we're not accepted in the majority, I think what's more sad and disheartening is that we're not accepted in our own communities. And that's the angle that closing up is going to enter. But the second part, we're also going to engage why in combating negative stereotypes that closing government wants. The only way for you to do that is when you can eradicate and combat positive stereotypes first, then we need to go to that later. I don't think that all teams know why do minority can be discriminated and what does the calculation of majority thinks when they discriminate minority. We're going to be the only team who tackles that. Let's start with the first point. I think the unity and this directly engaged towards opening government as well, regarding multi-region unity and immunity unite to fight against the evil that comes. One, I think when you are a minority and you are oppressed, you already have an initial motivation for you to, an organic reason for you to protest and unite. You have cultural attachment. I don't think we need to have one more ability for us to say, hey, we're good at that, let's unite. I don't think so. We're united because we want to fight the majority. I don't think that's a good parameter. But two, I think what we that all teams forget to mention is that minority, the reasons why we are not accepted in majority purposes is because the only way for us to be a part of the majority is when we are an exceptional minority. We can be good at that. We are Einstein and we are everything else. What closing up defended is that we want to have a right to be mediocre and we can have the right to be accepted in our communities. Because the most disheartening fact is not when a white calls you violent when you're African American, but once you're a father and mother, it tells you that you're not Asian enough and you're not part of our community simply because you're not that model Asians that we want to have. I think that's the type of thing that you need to realize. I don't think it's different than opening up just simply saying here over and over again. But the ability for you to be rebutted by Kushan is saying, oh, you only felt emotional and disappointed at that. I don't think that's a good enough response, because anything that you have in the world like political rights, economical rights and developmental rights is for your self-actualization as an emotional phase of your body. If you can't say that the emotional attachment for me to say that my mom is disappointed in the same exact reason why I cannot be a good enough Asian, I cannot be a good enough individual, no matter how much money that I will have, most likely I will not be satisfied with that kind of income. I think that's an important part that all government branches should take into account. Right? Second part, right? How is this going to tackle down negative stereotype that closing government wants to defend, and why is it going to be better on our side of the house? Now, why is that important is already in that particular argument. Yeah, maybe your eyes first. No? Okay. How is this going to combat negative stereotype? I think it's particularly different in opening up, right? Opening up only argues that we're going to succumb towards the majority standard and we're not able to self-actualize ourselves. I think that's good and that's but I think we need to also understand how does this actually help us combating negative stereotypes. Because I think all the team agrees that negative stereotypes are bad and needs to be combated. Right? One, how does majority actually discriminate you and what are the calculus when they discriminate you? I think positive or negative stereotypes are only positive or negative when they are subjective to one particular individual. So the way that you justify these positive stereotypes when you are Asians or when you are acting positive stereotypes, you're also saying towards the majority that you're not good at math. And if you are not Chinese, you're not going to become an accountant or you're not going to be a consultant. If you're saying to the whites, please, you're not going to go to MBA because you're white. I think that this is the same exact narrative that other majorities, white, pribumis or everyone else, to say to you that you're not good enough in something because you're not a part of the majority. Using the same exact weapon that the majority uses to depress you and to oppress you is the same reasons why we're going to normalize the behavior of racism and normalize the behavior that it's okay for you to classify groups and to class people out of the necessity of the facilities of public because because some races are better than the others in certain sectors, and some races are lower in comparison to others. And I think this is the type of thing that is going to be most likely harmful towards you and towards your bodies, right? What am I saying? And what are the impact of this? One, most likely I think the impact, there are some impact of that, that's why job implication, etc. But two, what you're also going to lose is that the ability for you to criticize and to say that this is not the way that you need to judge individuals, not based on your contribution to the majority, but you need to be judged only solely based on your individual level as a human being. I don't think that's a good enough parameter for you to say that. This is also most likely going to lead in that you're not going to be able to have a significant voice in Black Lives Matter, saying that Black Lives Matter right now is good or bad, because the way that you picturize Black Lives Matter is to say that even if that we are apathetic, we're not that violent, and you're also going to antagonize the entire majority that they have on their side of the house, because the most likely the defense that comes from majority is that hey, you should not be able to you should not you're nitpicking the argumentations that you run as a Black Lives Matter because you only want to take the advantage of stereotypes, but at the same time neglecting or oppressing other individuals for not taking that particular jobs. I think this is the type of thing that's most likely going to be the defense that of All Lives Matter or white nationalist parties, because you're also going to say that the rise of Black Lives Movement also to some extent limits the ability of majority to access certain jobs and access certain benefits and access certain facilities, right? This is what are the basis of white nationalist parties. What they're saying is that the rise of Black Lives Matter will most likely lead to you not having any more jobs in basketball, not basketballs, in labor-oriented jobs, or you're also going to take away our ability to educate. I think that's a significant benefit because two things. One, we're the only team that's able to talk to you. How do we combat negative stereotypes that all team that is on? Regardless whether positive stereotypes is good or bad, we're the only team that's able to break that. Six and beyond? No? The second reason why is that we're always able to be the one who talks to you. What is the distinctive part of racism and discrimination that's inherently different than any other actions? I think this takes the bait. The only response to this, no response to it. The only argumentation coming from opposing government is to say it's expensive. Wow, I think when you want to tackle down negative stereotype, it is also going to be expensive. The company data should not be based on cost, but based on the emotional well-being of your individuals. Because even if you have more money, if you still discriminate, what's the point, right? But the last thing is this, right? We only prove the but second of all, I think they're the one who contradict their own argument, saying that there is already rich Brian, and there's already going to be a lot of artists going on. That means that the interest is there, and people wanted to go to that particular sector. We just need to support and incentivize them. I think that's not a good point, parameters, right? But here's the thing. But in conclusions, what we're saying that cost is limited, I agree. But the way that you need to invest in this certain cost, you need to be strategic. You need to make sure you do not lose your voices. You need to make sure that you're able to criticize, because ultimately negative stereotypes is bad. We're the only one who's going to tackle that. Very much.